Welcome to the session number 13 of spiritual aspects of Agnihotra. In the last few weeks, about 8 to 10 weeks, we have discussed the Ishwar Stuti Prarthana Upasana mantra. They are 8 in numbers. We are all familiar with them, and it is our custom that before we start Agnihotra, we recite these 8 mantras. They are, the first one is Om Vishwani Dev Savita Duitani. The last one is Om Agne Naya Supatharaye Asman Vishwa. Their importance is again highlighted towards the end of the Agnihotra, just before Purnahuti, the final ahutis. We recite these two mantras, the first and last, again, and offer ahutis. Last week we have discussed the last one, Om Agne Naya Supatharaye, and that comes from, originally it is from Yajurveda, 40th chapter, and that's what made me think. As you can see here, the Agne Naya Supatharaye is from Yajurveda, 40th chapter, 16th mantra. The Yajurveda 40th chapter has a lot of importance, and that is what gives rise to Ishopanishad. The 40th chapter of Yajurveda begins with Ishavasyam idam sarvam, so that can be seen. Yeah. This is Yajurveda 40th chapter. It has in total 17 mantras. The 16th is the one we have discussed last week, Om Agne Naya Supatharaye. And the first one is Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. And hence, Ishopanishad derives its name from its first word, namely Isha. It is also called sometimes as Ishavasyopanishad. So whether you look at Isha or Ishavasya, it depends how do you name that chapter. So Ishopanishad, which is highly regarded as the very first one in the 10 or 11 prominent Upanishads. The reason I said 10 or 11, if we count 10, it is without Shvetashvata, and sometimes Shvetashvata Upanishad is also given that same kind of prominence, then it becomes 11 Upanishads. I don't have to list all the 11. It's not difficult. It is Ish, Ken, Prashna, Katha, Mundak, Mandukya, Ate, and Chandogya, Tati, and Behdaranya. These are 10 names, and if you add Shvetashvata, it becomes 11 Upanishad. So the point here was that Ishopanishad, which is largely the same as Yajurveda 40th chapter, except that one mantra gets split into two. The last one, Om Hiranyamayen Paten Satyasya Pehitam. This splits into two, and some orders have changed. Otherwise, Ishopanishad is nothing but the 40th chapter of Yajurveda. And I want to, once I get into this Yajurveda 40th chapter, I want to preface it. Why am I doing that? why am I devoting this session on a glance? We will not go much into detail, but a glance through the um, 40th chapter of Yajurveda. Why do I want to do that? So let's come back to Agnihotra. As I said, the purpose of this course, titled as Spiritual Aspects of Agnihotra, is basically to give you an idea what is daily Agnihotra and what are the spiritual elements. A common person looks at it as a karm kand, as if action oriented something. But there has been a request to highlight the spiritual aspects of this, which of course it is an spiritual action, but then one has to be quite aware of what are the spirituality, elements of spirituality, and where are they existing, and how do they uh, can they motivate us? Can they inspire us? So we are looking at, in this particular course, the spiritual aspects of Agnihotra. And when we say Agnihotra, we want to look at the daily Agnihotra, what every householder is expected to perform in the morning and in the evening. If everything is well set out, you have a box of all the necessary stuff, and if they are lying well placed in a particular room dedicated for this purpose, then it won't take more than about 15 minutes, I should say. So it is quite a practical uh, ritual, and it can be performed once there is enough, motivation to do that. And saying those words that we are looking at spiritual aspects of Agnihotra, particularly the daily Agnihotra, then we know what daily Agnihotra is. Ishwar Stuti Pratnopasana, 8 mantras. Then we go to kindling the fire called Agniya Dhyan. And then very brief, uh, there are about 16 ahutis. And then we recite the Purnahuti and then we close the affair. Now, but on certain occasions, special occasions, we do what is extended Agnihotra. In extended Agnihotra, after Ishwar Stuti Pratnopasana, we may, like in a particular sanskar, in a family, or on any other special occasions, we may recite Swasti Vachan and Shantikaran. And also when it comes to the fire part, we have some extra ahutis. The most prominent are four ahutis, what are called Pamanaya ahutis, and eight Ashtajya ahuti. So those 4 plus 8 are also usually included in a special Agnihotra, what is called Behad Yajna. Otherwise, we are concerned with Dainik Agnihotra. But all said and done, I thought, though we will discuss at length the daily Agnihotra, I want to make some very brief remarks on the components of Vehad Yajna, the, the extended Agnihotra. So from that point of view, today I wanted to devote to Swasti Vachan and Shantikaran without going much into its detail. So I picked up the two words, namely Swasti and Shanti. So Swasti Vachan has about 35 or so. Let me just check it. Uh, Swasti Vachan. I'm looking at the typical Havan book. Yeah. So Swasti Vachan has about in total 30 mantras. And Shantikaran has about slightly less than that. Yeah, 28 mantras. So 30 and 28 mantras. as I said, it is we are expected to recite them on certain special occasions, any sanskar, etc. But I will not touch upon any of these mantras, 30 plus 28. I just want to take up these two titles, namely Swasti and Shanti. Swasti is a compound word, Swa plus Asti. Su plus Asti. That is a better way to look at it. Su plus Asti. Asti is astitva, existence. Su is positive, everything is fine. So swasti will basically mean everything is fine in our household. You know, we have all the necessary stuff, and there is nothing is lacking, and it should be all fine. So swasti is kind of a material uh, belongings. Everything is there in the right form and order and at the right place. So if I get hungry, there is enough food in home, there is water, there is all other things, clothings, and all the things that a typical household has it. If there is nothing lacking, it's you will say it is fine. But as a human being, that probably is not enough. Even if there is all kinds of stuffs are at home, yet I may have a disturbed mind. If I have a disturbed mind for some reason or another, that would be Ashanti, Ashantman, then even though everything seemingly is fine, but it is not quite everything good because I am not at peace with my own self, is it not? So swasti alone is not enough. Swasti plus Shanti completes the whole picture. So that is what I led me to think this very peculiar aspects of the Vedic culture where there is always a dipole. One plus one makes a pair. So dipole has two elements. They are connected together, and that language of dipole is the hallmark of the Vedic culture. Like we want to say Abhyuday and Nishayas. So Abhyuday is kind of a material development, and Nishayas is spiritual development. So as a human being, I want to have good health, I want to have all material wealth, but also I want to take at the end of my life here something that I have earned is not that visible, but it makes my overall stature a loftier one, a higher being. That is Nishayas. And that finality is what is called moksha, mukti, liberation from the cycle of birth and death. So that is what Abhyuday and Nishayas would mean. So, these dipoles may come, and that's the beauty of the 40th chapter of Yajurveda, where every mantra has an interwoven concept of dipole. And I want to share that with you uh, in the shadow of Swasti and Shanti. We have briefly discussed Swasti and Shanti. Nobody has to be convinced about it. This is what we need. We need all that material wealth in our household, plus we need peace of mind also, Shanti also. So that Swasti and Shanti are very much needed in every household. That is cannot be exaggerated. But this leads me to think that peculiar aspect of Vedic language, namely of dipole, which occurs so often in the Ved mantra. For example, Dyava Prithvi, Mithya Varuna, Indra Agni. All these are compound words where two nouns have been brought together and as if they become one entity. And we are told to look at the pair that is hidden in dipole, somehow have to lead a life that we carry along both in our life. We we pay attention to Swasti as well as to Shanti. If we miss out one of them, then that is not good for our life, you know. So you will see as I show you again the Yajurved 40th chapter, the dipoles will come in a different kind of shade, you know. Sometimes there will be two words, they are very opposites. And it's not that we want to carry along both of them. We want to save ourselves from one negative and want to stay on the positive side. That was highlighted in the last week's mantra. Om Agne Nay Supathaye Asman Vishwani Dev Vayunani Vidwan Juyodhyasmat Juhuyana Meno Bhuisthante Nama Uktim Vidi. Here also there is a dipole because this is part of the 40th chapter. And as you can notice, dipole here is two opposite paths. One is positive path called Supath, and one is Kutil Path, you know, the crooked path. The word here is Juyodhi Asmat Juhyanameno. That Juhyanam, that which is full of thorns, you know. If we walk along that, that will cause pain to us, is it not? So, Supath and Kutil Path, so to say. That was the dipole in the mantra that we discussed sometime. Sometimes there are two dipoles, they are seemingly opposites, but it is not that we have to choose one out of them. Like just now we discussed Supath and Kutil Path. We are of course going to choose Supath and we are seeking his guidance. Hey Agne, Naya Supath. Agne Naya Supatha. You carry us, you take us along the Supath and save us from the Kutil Path, is it not? So we want to stay away from one negative and stay on the course of the positive. But I want to show you another example, as you will see. Yajurved 40th chapter, very first mantra, Ishavashyamida. Tena Tekten Bhunjita. Here the dipole is Tyag and Bhog, you know. So it is not that we want to lead life on Tyag fully and no Bhog. We want to enjoy the pleasures of life also. We want to enjoy good food also. But we want to enjoy it only to a certain extent. If we get carried away thoroughly into delicious food and do overeating and have a lot of cravings for the taste of the food, that is not sensible. So we want to remain within the limits. Yes, we want to eat for nourishment, and if it is a delicious thing to our liking, we want to enjoy it also, the taste, but we want to have a sense of detachment also, that once our appetite is over, yes, I don't want to eat anymore, is it not? So that is tena tyaktena bhunjita. With the underlying sense of tyag, detachment, I am enjoying it. So it is not that I am not doing bhog, I am solely on Tyag. I am on Tyag and Bhog looks like opposites, but I somehow carry along them together. And that is the smart way of leading life, how to navigate so that I am on the Tyag as well as Bhog. Bhog filled with Tyag and Tyag added with Bhog. So you have to balance it, navigate your life properly. That's what Vedic teachings are meant for. So, you know, we have discussed dipole, two opposites where we have to choose one out of them. Two seemingly opposite where we are taking them along together in a very smart manner. That was Tyag and Bhog. And sometimes there will be a dipole where both are very good. Still, they pertain to two different circumstances, but we want to give importance to both of them, such as Abhyuda and Shreyas. They are not quite opposites. Yes, one could say one is pertaining to material development and one is pertaining to spiritual development, but they are not opposites. They are two different things. One is based on matter and one is based on my consciousness. These are two different things, not quite opposites. And I want to take care of my physical health as well as my material wealth as well as my spiritual wealth. That only will go along with me when I leave this mortal world, is it not? So Abhyuda and Nishayas. So I have tried to tell you that there are these typos will come in all these mantras of Yajurveda 40th chapter, and we will look at them in all possible manner, and they could have three different shades, like two opposites, choosing one out of them, two seemingly opposites, taking both along with them, two different terms may look opposites, but they are both are in our own interest, is it not? So let's look at this Yajurveda 40th chapter. And before that, I want to just to highlight how important is this Yajurveda 40th chapter, because it is kind of summary of the Vedic message. And that's where I want to show you, because we are very familiar with listing the four Vedas as Rigved, Yajurved, Samved, and Atharved, is it not? In this classification, Yajurved is at number 2. Rigved, Yajurved, Samved, Atharved. That is how we teach our children that the Vedas are 4, namely Rigved, Yajurved, Samved, and Atharved. Of course, Ved as such is one, the revealed knowledge, but they are in 4 volumes. And then we list their names in this particular order, is it not? That is what we are quite familiar with. But I want to show you a very another Ved mantras that come in what is called our Purush Sukta. Purush Sukta is very famous. Rigved 10th Mandal and 90th Sukta. So that begins with Sahasrasesha Purusha. So let me show you that Purush Sukta. And in that Purush Sukta, this one particular mantra that comes as that lists the 4 Vedas, and that is here. The Om Tasmad Yajya Sarvuta Richa Samani Jajye Chandansi Jajye Tasmat Yaju Tasmad Ajayata. This is Purush Sukta, 10th Mandal, 90th Sukta, 90th Sukta, and 9th mantra. Where, and the same I want to show you, this is also in Yajurveda also. Yeah, Yajurveda, 31st chapter, 7th mantra. So here it is Yajurveda, 31st chapter, 7th mantra. This is the commentary from Maharishi Dayananda. And here the same mantra. So I just showed you twice, no problem. Purush Sukta is known as Purush Sukta in from Rigveda. And this is Purush Adhyaya in Yajurveda. And the Yajurveda Adhyaya has slightly additional mantras. And here we have availability of commentary from Maharishi Dayananda. As you know, Maharishi Dayananda was killed prematurely. So he wrote commentaries on the Rigveda, but only up to 7th Mandal, a part of it. and therefore his commentary of the Purush Sukta is not available. But it is available from Yajurveda 31st chapter. And the mantras that are in Rigveda Purush Sukta are also in Yajurveda Purush Adhyaya. And furthermore, there are some additional mantras. So that is what I am showing you here. And here it is interesting to see that the four Vedas have been listed. Let me show you the Pad part next. Yes. The four Vedas are listed as Rig Veda, Sam Veda, and Chandansi is word for the Atharva Veda, and then Yajurveda. Very interesting. So the four Vedas are listed here as Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Atharva Veda, and Yajurveda. Of course, one could say in whichever way you want it. Yeah. But I have listed, I have pointed out the more familiar sequence of Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samveda, and Atharvaveda that we all are familiar with. That also comes in the Vedas. But here is an instance where the four Vedas have been listed in a very different manner. Namely, Rig Veda, Samveda, Atharvaveda, and Yajurveda. Why am I showing that? This is so important to notice this, because if the four Vedas are mentioned like this, and this particular mantra is basically saying Tasmat means that supreme consciousness of Ishwar. Out of him, this is called Panchami, and his all noble actions are called as Yajna. And then out of him, that is what is the revelations, out of him came the words, namely those contained in the Rig Veda, Samveda, Atharvaveda, and Yajurveda. If we look at it this way, then there is a very specific significance of the last chapter of Yajurveda, namely 40th chapter, as if that is the last chapter of all the Vedas. And then the 40th chapter of Yajurveda has very high importance, that as if that Supreme Being, when he gives us the message, he is summarizing the entire volume of the Vedas, the four Vedas, in the last chapter of Yajurveda. So 40th chapter of Yajurveda becomes highly significant, as if it is summarizing the whole of the Vedic message. So when you look at the Ishopanishad with such an understanding, it really becomes very, very important for us, is it not? So let's look at the 40th chapter again. I think I wanted to show you the 40th chapter now. Yes, here it is. So we'll give a very, as I said, a very quick glance to it to appreciate the language of dipole that Paramatma is giving to us in this so important 40th chapter of Yajurveda, where he is summarizing the whole of the Vedic message, and every mantra here has a kind of a dipole. So I will go through them very, very fast really. This is the first mantra, Ishavasyamidam. As I mentioned in my preface, Tena Tyaktena Bhunjita. Here he is trying to say this entire Jagat, the universe that we live in, and I have been thrown into this universe, this ocean. And then he says, this Ten is referring to this Jagat. tyakten. I should live here in a very detached manner. And bhunjita, I have to do the bhog of it. I have to go through the experiences of my life. That are the rewards of all my actions, all my sakam karma that I am doing on ongoing basis in the present life. And there is a ledger book from all my past life also, where a number of actions I have taken and their rewards are yet to come. So, because they are going through certain gestation period. So, nobody in the world, no human being can say, I don't have to go through the experiences of my life. That is what is bhog. That can be joy or pain. There is a wide spectrum which we have to go through because this is what we have did. So what you have to reap what you sow. So what goes around comes around. So there are different kind of words to express the law of karma for common people, and all of them understand it. This is a fact of life. So we cannot get away from the bhog of the world, but bhog, particularly the bhog of sukh, the joy and happiness, that should never become an overriding factor. That is why we are being told we should always be detached in the ongoings of the life. So the dipole here is tyag and bhog. In the second mantra, very interesting, the dipole here is hidden in the word na. That is what he has chosen to address me. So as a human being, I am being addressed as Nara. That is my original name given by that supreme consciousness to me as a human being. What he's saying is, as if this was for the knowledge based, this is now action based, the second mantra, where I am being told I have no way to go but perform karma. So if there is a karma I have to perform, then obviously there will be rewards. So I am being told, yes, I have to perform karma, but it doesn't have to be sakam karma. It can be nishkam karma also. And that is what the hint is here. Na karma lipyate naye. So when you do the nishkam karma, then that karma doesn't stick to you. So lipyate means sticking to you. It doesn't stick to you anymore, is it not? And now it can be like you are detached from it. So like as a young mother does for a child, that's why we say Matya Devo. So that is Devta. Devta always does work for others' well-being and don't seek any rewards for anything. They do it in a very detached manner. So that Nishkam Karma is a, so he has given me a name, Na Ramankarna. So as if this is Sansar, everybody is living here. That is called Raman. Animals and birds, they have no choice. Even a common human being, they have no choice. They are very part and parcel of this sansar. But as a human being, as a higher order human being, I am being told how to make my life loftier. And in that sense, he is giving me a name, Na. You are in this sansar, but you don't have to be very much part of it. Na is negation, don't. Ra is Ramanakana. Don't very much become part of it. And of course, we know it. There is a the we are told, and the example is given as that of lotus leaf. You know, lotus leaf is very much in the on the water surface. If you put some water on it, it stays as a drop. It doesn't stick to it, is it not? So even though it is in the water, water cannot stick to it. So that way I can perform karma as his ambassador, as his agent, as his servant. I am just doing at the pleasure of my master. And then I don't have to seek its reward. That is, my master will take care of me. Is it not? So when you have that much faith, love, and relationship with that Ishwar, then you'll do all kinds of actions in this world as his representative, as his servant, as his ambassador, and then all the karma is surrendered to him, samarpan. So that is what is called Ishwar Pranidhan. And then you don't get the rewards of them. He just takes care of you, is it not? And then in the second mantra, the people who are opposite to that, who don't heed this advice, they are called as asura. Asura is a word opposite kind of people. So this A is for negation, Su is for rhythm. There is a rhythm of life force from that Ishwar. If I am in that rhythm, I am in Sur, then I am a Nar, otherwise I am an Asur. So Asur is what? Tanste petyapi gachanti. They don't, they, they ignore that Ishwar. They are blind, andhena tamasaveta. They live in this world, but they see this material world, but not that maker of the world. They say, we don't see any force, invisible force behind these events of the world. They negate it. They say as if the world is moving by itself, sustaining by itself. So they are not concerned with the forces that are spiritual forces, and it would be sensible for us to align ourselves with those forces. They are not, they don't care about that. They are asur. And then tanse petyapi gachanti. Even in the next life, pet is the next life, they will be seeking, getting the rewards of their actions, good or bad, whatever they do. And then they are the common people, Atmahano Jana. They are not in the category of Nar. They, Atmahan, Han is to kill. They are even killing the inner voice within them, is it not? So they are the negative side. And we should, so there are two kinds of dipoles, Nara and Asur. And the word Nar itself has a dipole that I should be in sansar, but not to be a part of it, is it not? So there is a very interesting language of dipole here. Then at the fourth mantra, Anejada Kammanaso Javiyo Nanadeva Apnuvan Purvamarshat Tadhavato Anyan Natyeti Tishtat Tasmin Napo Mata Ishwadada. Now we are being told, yes, this world life is like running around Dhavata. And all the smart people are just, they're so busy. They have no time to wait, to stand or sit. They are just running around one task after another. They want to improve their quality of life, but they are looking at only the sensual part of life, the body and mind part of life. Is it not? They are gathering all kinds of stuff. They are very busy gathering all kinds of material stuff and material wealth, and they go around the world for that purpose. They don't want to give the real energy and charge to their own self, that consciousness. And if they cared for that, what would they do? Tisthati. So here the dipole is dhavati, means to run, and tisthati means to sit. To sit with what? Sit with Mata Ishwa, that supreme mother of ours who loves us most, is it not? So, like when I become a mother or a father, I have a small child. That little child runs around here and there. But if you notice, after a few hours, maybe not hours, I will say, 1.5, 2 hours later, the child is playing in a small room and then he comes to his mother or father. Is it not? He wants to stay connected. So that is the balance of the life. Yes, let's play around, but also get connected to that Supreme Being. And that upasana requires us to sit, tishtat, is it not? So that's what we are told. We should do upasana at least 1 hour in the morning and another hour in the evening. But how many of us are doing that? Very few. We are all in running around. So we have to do both. So here the dipole is, yes, 23 hours, 22 hours are for dhawat. That includes sleep also. And sometimes bad luck, even in sleep, our mind is wandering when we have dreams, is it not? But let's look at the wakeful hours. Say you devote 8 hours to sleep, then you have 16 hours, you are awake, then, okay, in 16 hours you can do 14 hours running around, but you should devote 2 hours to upasana, is it not? And then the fifth mantra is telling us how to be with him. We don't have to go far away. Here is the dipole that about that Ishwar, he himself is a complex phenomena of dipoles. He runs around because he is everywhere, but he is immobile, tannejati. He is stationary because he is infinite, he is everywhere. So it seems wherever I see him, he is there, gives me an impression he is running fast, but actually he doesn't run fast. Wherever I see far away, he is there, but I don't have to go far away. He is within me also. Antike. Tadduve tadanti. Tadantara sarvasya tadu. That applies to all the things. All the things that exist in the universe at a molecular level, atoms and molecules are moving, and who is making them move? Because he is there within. Antar sarvasya tadu. And sarvasyasya bahyata. And he envelops everything in the world from outside as well. So this is multiple dipoles here. Ejati, na ejati, duye, antike, antasya, and bahyata. Now, one who is following the advice and this message of Ishwar, he sits for upasana. And now, in the as a reward to upasana, as benefits that he gains in the upasana, he gains a very different kind of ability to see. His vision changes. Up till now, if he was just seeing the visible world, common man says, I see everything in the world, but I don't see Ishwar. But now a upasak becomes a different person. He says, I see only him, nothing else. Is it not? So his vision has changed because everything to him reminds him as if the maker of that thing, his love. Like a small child, his mother is maybe working in the kitchen, but wherever he goes in the house, he will see his mother because for him, everything in the home has mother's touch, is it not? So that is what we are talking about. And that is what, as somebody picks up upasana in his day-to-day life, being with him, bringing your mind calm, still and blank. What Patanjali says, yoga is chitta vritti niyodha. When there is nothing in your mind skein, then you disconnect from your mind and you are with him. When that is slightly making progress, you are rewarded with some vision. What is it? That is anupashyati. Now you have a different way to see things. Otherwise, you are merely pashyati, just seeing things. But now you are seeing anupashyati. You see things in great minute detail. You, as if you penetrate inside those stuff. And then you are able to do vichikat sati. And then you are able to gain vijanata. It is not just knowing, you know experientially the things. You just don't believe in Ishwar because Vedas and so many books are saying that. Now you have seen him, you were with him. When you have been with him, you are guided by ekatva manupashyata. All the things are same in the world. All are inhabited by that Ishwar. There is just unity in diversity. So you cannot harm anybody. Now you love everybody. And there is no moh and no shok. Because there is nothing you are getting disconnected from. So, and there is nothing you are getting connected to. So why to be detached to anything? And why to have grief when something disappears in the world? Because it's all one thing. There is kind of oneness. So this is a very unusual dipole here, that the infinite things have become now one. Unity in diversity. Is it not? So there is a whole lot of human beings who say, we see all the clouds, all the air, the trees, the plants, flowers, but we don't see him. But now you are a mature person. You say, yes, I see all those things. But within all these things, I see him. Is it not? So you have a different outlook now. And now, this is a description of, he is describing his own self. Sa is for him, Payagat Shukram Akayam Avarnam Asnavayam. He is Shuddham Apap Viddham, untouched by any vice. No pap can ever enter into him because he is pure. This is a description about him. And this, as a matter of fact, I don't possess any of these characteristics. He is akayam, without any body, but I have a body. And because I have a body, there are wounds and there are all kinds of arteries and so on. He is void of all that. And he is pure. Shukram. So much pure that he can make me also pure. That is what Shukram is different from Shuddham. But I have to be with him, is it not? But as a default, he has shared a number of his characteristics with me. So in this mantra, there is a very unusual dipole. One set of characteristics that are in his exclusive characteristics. Then there is a second set of characteristics, Kavi, Manishi, Payibhu, Swayambhu, Yatha, Tathyato, Arthan. They are his own, but a part of it, he can give it to me. And he does give me. Now that I have succeeded partly in Upasana, I can see, yes, I have slight characteristics of Kavi Shabdane. I can also make some interpretation of a Ved mantra. So Ved mantras came from him, but I can interpret it in a particular manner and describe that to my fellow human beings, is it not? So that is where I am also a Kavi. Manishi, he of course makes my mind function the way it functions. He is he has the overall control of my mind in total sense. But with meditation practice, etc., I have also gained part of that characteristic. I have become Manishi to some extent. So these are different kind of dipoles here. One set of characteristics his own, his exclusive. The second set, they are originally his characteristics, but he can share it with some chosen ones, chosen people. Not, it doesn't come to you as default, is it? Now the next three mantras, 9th, 10th and 11th, here the dipole is Asambhuti and Sambhuti. Asambhuti is, or let's say is for negation. So let's look at Sambhuti. Sambhuti is all my actions that I do for my family, for my community and others. These are all noble work. As a volunteer, I do it. Very good. But I have to take care of my own self also. That is Asambhuti. Is negation. Sambhuti has some is like in Samaj. So for all, all actions that I do for all are good actions, noble actions, nishkam karma. But if I spend the whole day like that, who will take care of my own self? I have to brush my teeth, I have to take shower, I have to eat food. If I don't do actions for my own self, if I neglect myself, then how will I do Sambhuti karma? So I must do Asambhuti also in a limited manner so that my life gets going. But why is my life? It is basically to do noble nishkam karma for others. So the purpose of my life is, that is means. So Asambhuti is means. So that's what Asambhuti here is Vinashen Mrityum Titva. So I do Asambhuti karma to push the death away. But finally, these Sambhutyam, these noble Nishkam karma will bring me Amyatam Ashnute, immortality, the moksha. So this was dipole of Sambhuti and Asambhuti covered in three mantras. And next three mantras, 12th, 13th, 14th, are Avidya and Vidya. So here the dipole is Avidya and Vidya. So here Avidya is not wrong knowledge. Here Vidya is knowledge about me and Ishwar, spiritual knowledge. And Avidya is material knowledge, material science. So Vidya is spiritual science, Avidya is material science. So previous three mantras were on action, now this is on knowledge side. And dipole is Vidya and Avidya. So here the pair have to go together. Like Sambhuti or Sambhuti must go together. But kind of optimization. In the same manner, I must gain knowledge about material science, how to build houses, how to get clothes and woolen clothes for winter, and how to do agriculture to get food for my nourishment. What are the benefits of sunlight? And health science, how to elongate my lifespan, how to get away from all kinds of illnesses. So all this material science is very important. But what is the purpose of material science? Avidya mrityum tetva. This is to again push away the death. If death is coming to me, I want to push it away. I don't want to die. But that is not the whole purpose of my life. By way of avidya, I gain some health and good years of life. And then what is my higher objective? That is obtained through the vidya, the spiritual knowledge. That not only through the books, through experiential upasana, etc. Amyatam ashnuti. That will bring to me the liberation, the moksha, the immortality, amyatam ashnuti. And then in 15th is very interesting. I am told as a human being, I am myself. Two in one. As if two quite opposite things have been brought together. What are the two opposites? One is Amritam, my soul, my consciousness, my Atma. And the other is Bhasmantam Shayeya. This physical body. Physical body has an ant, end, while my Atma is Amritam, undying, immortal. These are seemingly two different things. That is his beauty. He has brought them together in my mother's womb. So my soul was, there were layers after layers, and I got a body domain, is it not? And then I am told, I am myself a dipole in living. Not the whole world, not the whole Vedic message is full of dipole. I am myself the dipole. And remember that Supreme Being who has sent you into this world, who has packaged you like this. Then 16th mantra, the dipole was Supat and Kutilpat. We have discussed. The last is Hiranmayan Patyan Satyasya. This is a super dipole. That Ishwar himself is super dipole. Kham and Bam. Kham is his minutest, smallest, and Bam is his greatest, his largest. He is infinitely large, but he is so super fine that he can enter into anything. So he is most subtle and greatest and largest also. And this gives like, the way this has come together, his own name is Om. That is Pluto. Kambam. Yajurveda 40th chapter, last chapter of the Vedas, and at the end it looks like his beautiful signature. Om Kambam. We are so privileged, we are so fortunate due to Maharishi Dayanand. We can get to know this legacy of Vedas. Is it not so wonderful? So today I have devoted Swasti and Shanti, a dipole, and have quickly traversed through the Yajurveda 40th chapter, which has this language of dipole interwoven in each of the mantras. And this is the beauty of our culture. Even in our day-to-day language, if you look at it, our words are slightly unusual. In English, somebody will say, have you had your food? But in Hindi, we say, khana pina ho gaya. You know, we have khana pina. We rarely say khana kha liya. You know, khana pina, it goes together. So this pair of words, rather than saying, have you had your bath? Nahana dhona ho gaya kya? Nahana dhona, khana pina. You know, we have, even in our modern languages, there is that touch is there. The pair of words to bring a kind of holistic, to give a holistic nature of life, you know. Thank you very much for your attention. Next time we will enter into Agnihotra part and discuss all the features of Agnihotra. Thank you very much for your attention.